Okay.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Now that you know a little bit about us, we're not going to make you go around the room and say anything about yourselves. But we just wanted to welcome you. This is Emotions 101, and it really is kind of 101, like kind of just the basics, getting started with it. But I know for me, it doesn't always feel like the basics. It feels really deep because especially if you don't know a ton about essential oils, then it just feels that way. But since you're on this Zoom, I'm just going to assume it means that at some level or another, you're stressed and tired of feeling that way. You've got different emotions going on and you want to figure out how to deal with them in a way that's healthy for you. Maybe you feel like your body is just like constantly under attack, um, or like you're constantly in fight or flight mode, or maybe you're in a place where you're actually beyond that and now you're just frozen. I know I've experienced that. Maybe like you've just been stressed for so long where you're just like, oh, now I'm frozen. Now I can't function. Or maybe just it's like your mental capacity is just always at its max. I know I'm there a lot in this season of life. So anyone who feels that way, I'm like, oh, girl, same. Like, just feels like a lot. But if any of that just relates to you, then you're in the right place tonight. And just trust us when we say that you're not alone. You actually probably know that if you talk to any other woman, that you're just not alone in that. But it often actually feels like you are, when you're in the middle of it and you feel like you're just dealing with so much,
What?
and just trying to respond to all the things of life. So, being super transparent, on my end, I have just personally been in a very long season, of kind of just one hard thing after another. So I have a bit of like a pile up of emotions that have been happening, and a pile up of stress, and so even as we do this Zoom, I'm just like continuing to learn, just how to recognize and respond to the different emotions and stresses that seem to just be unrelenting right now. I know Sarah and Kathy, that they also have like just super difficult things that are going on in their life right now. And so when we're talking about emotions and stress tonight, it's really personal and we're just speaking from experience and we can just totally relate to you. We don't want to just be talking at you and telling you a bunch of things. We want you to know that it is very personal to us and it's coming out of a heart of like, we feel you and, we hope that we can share something that can help, you know. We truly relate. We also just know that just like us, like you probably want and need just some simple, just daily habits for responding to emotions and just calming your nervous system. Um, so tonight we all just really want to help. We're going to teach you the basics of using essential oils for your physical and your mental health and talk about how you can actually detox from your negative emotions in like a 3-week span if you are consistent with some things. So welcome to Emotions 101. We're going to tackle the beast that is stress and just how it takes such a toll on our emotional and then turns into taking a toll on our physical health. So as we share, we will probably talk a little bit about our own stories and just how we've been able to use our oils to improve our emotional health and decrease our stress levels. But before we get to the content, just real quick, just a little bit of housekeeping, especially like we have this recorded and we're going to try to keep everything moving really quickly. We sometimes these can turn into super long things if we don't just keep it moving and hold the questions for the end. So that's what we're going to do. So if you have a question that comes up, if you could just like write it down or just put it in the chat and we will make sure that we check it and go through it and make sure that we get to it by the end. And it's quite possible we even answer your question while we're talking. But if we don't, we will check it. But that will help us to just kind of get through it all. And then anyone who needs to just hop off can do that. And then if you could just keep yourselves muted until the end, just because any of the background noise, and especially with the recording, it can cause like feedback and have people just have trouble hearing then. So that's just really helpful to do. I think that is all. So I think we can start getting into some of the content. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to turn off my video, because then I'm going to actually share it. You don't have to, but it's just helpful for me to not see my face too while I'm trying to talk this. I'm going to share my screen. And one of the things that we have found to be super helpful is to have some just slides that kind of help you stay like focused and on task or hold on. I'm trying to multitask in my brain, just focused it on task, and then my brain went, what? Where is this? There we go. This will it just kind of helps to keep us like, a little focused. It gives you a little something to look at instead of just our faces talking at you. And it's just really helpful. So welcome to the Emotions 101 class. And everyone, if you can't see it or hear something, just please let me know. But all right. All right, so we're just gonna get to it. I need to move something out of my way real quick. This little bar of things. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start off with just emotions and the brain. So emotions really are part of our everyday life. So, sometimes emotions can get a bad rap, like especially, we talk about, quite often, like emotions really are like they're lying to us all the time. Like we can't just like listen to our emotions all the time. And there is a little bit of truth to that, but they are part of our everyday lives. They are unavoidable. And though they often seem to run the show, they're also really valuable to us. So emotions are part of who we are. Like God gave us the ability to feel emotions. Indicators, they're basically signals for us that something is going on, good or bad. But the difference is it's not that emotions are all liars, but it's that we need to have a healthy relationship with them. And we don't want our emotions to just drive our every turn, because that's where we can just get into a spiral and into a crazy cycle. And that's where we just need to figure out how we can get a hold of them. So emotions really are just simply reactions that we experience in response to events or situations. The type of emotion we experience is determined by the circumstance that triggers the emotion. For instance, a person experiences joy when they receive good news. They experience fear when they are threatened. But when we look at the structure of the brain, we see that the amygdala, I think is how you say it. It's a tiny almond-shaped structure. Every time I read that, I probably say it different. It's this tiny almond-shaped structure. It's key when it comes to emotion and fear. And then this is another word I probably say different every time I say it. I don't know if it looks like hippocampus. Who even knows? But it is where new nerve cells are created. So it's physically beside the structure responsible for emotions and is connected to the nose via cranial nerve. So that got very sciencey, and I didn't even read words right. But so it sounds like a lot of jargon, but let me just rephrase it into simpler terms. So the part of the brain where new nerve cells are created is connected to the part of the brain that processes emotions and is also connected to our sense of smell. So that is like super powerful. That means we rewire our brains. It means that we can use oils intentionally for this. And that is how we move forward in peace. Like you guys know how like your sense of smell can trigger so many things. So we can actually use the essential oils to just rewire our brains. So we want to utilize the tools that we have in the oils that we've bought, or if you haven't bought them, the ones that you can get. We want to utilize those tools to dig deep and just release the emotional baggage of trauma that's weighing us down. So, and Sarah's going to talk about emotions and the nervous system.
Okay, hey, our emotions are intricately linked to our physical bodies. So if you've ever felt your stomach turn from anxiety or your heart beat faster with worry or fear, then you know what I'm talking about. And that is because of the central nervous system. Our central nervous system has two branches, the parasympathetic nervous system, which is also called the autonomic, and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system controls involuntary body responses such as blood flow and digestion. One way I remember parasympathetic is like paradise. Like if you're just running on parasympathetic, you're cool, you're peaceful. You can also think parasympathetic peace. Okay. Paradise, peace, okay. Because I still struggle getting those two mixed up a lot. But and then the sympathetic nervous system controls the body's fight or flight responses. And both of these systems are affected by and involved in our emotional responses. So for now, we're going to talk about the sympathetic nervous system or our fight or flight response. Just recently, they've added two more F's into this. There's freeze and fawn. So if you've ever been like stressed for a very long time and you kind of become frozen, like you kind of just sit around and you know you got a bunch of things to do and you just don't do them, or you just can't make decisions, you cannot make yourself do things, that's an indicator that you've been stressed for a very long time. Fawning is more like you're being people pleasing. We know what fight looks like, and we know what flight looks like or feels like. You just like want to run away from the troubles or whatever it is, or you want to fight and like take care of it physically, maybe. But anyway, so we're going to talk about those. And we're when we're not in the parasympathetic, remember peaceful, paradise, that's the rest and digest. Okay. Also reproduces in the parasympathetic system. Also, that's why if you're still menstruating and or you should be and you're super stressed, sometimes you don't get a period. Because your body's not focusing on reproducing, it's focusing on not dying. Okay. So that's what your body thinks. Your brain thinks that this, because of the levels of cortisol in your body, that you are in like extreme danger. So it's not letting you rest or digest or reproduce. So the ventral is the right amount of energy. We feel calm, grounded, able to give and receive connection to others. Now that sounds like parasympathetic, right? But the sympathetic is when you have too much energy. I was like this as a young mom. I was super hyperactive, always frustrated, extremely overwhelmed, angry. I yelled all the time. I was extremely anxious. I panicked a lot. I was defensive, and I fought with my husband all the time and other people. Then dorsal is kind of what I was talking about when I was talking about the freeze response. That's like a drained or like very low energy. You feel shut down, closed off, depressed, zoned out, numbed, hopeless, or sluggish. I forgot to mention I have 8 kids. So like when I say when I was a young mom, I had a lot of babies in like not that many years. Okay. And so sometimes we go from that, like the normal healthy person is going to be ventral. Super stressed out person is going to be sympathetic. When you're super stressed out for a very, very, very long time, then you kind of drop down in a dorsal. Okay. So our goal is to be in the ventral energy. But all those circumstances, stress, past trauma, pain, even like surgeries can put you into the sympathetic mode. Okay. Even if you're like, well, I did fine. It wasn't that painful. I'm not that anxious about it. Your body still is receiving the signals that you are in surgery when you're not actually aware of it. Your subconscious is. Okay, so that can hijack your system. Any of those things can hijack your system and just send us into a spiral of the activated sympathetic state or numbed and depressed dorsal state. So it's really important for us to identify and process the emotions. Something that I teach, I'm a stress coach, something I've been teaching my clients is to name it, to tame it. So if you're angry, be like, wow, when my family ignores me, it makes me feel really angry. And then you're like, okay, angry, I'm going to go use some valor or some peace and calming or stress away or something like that that can like help you calm down. And just being aware and able to say it, it really does help you tame those emotions. So in doing that, you can rewire your responses and shift back into the calm sympathetic state, or not sympathetic, parasympathetic state, or um, the dorsal state, or sorry, not dorsal, the ventral state, with the right amount of energy, and just be able to like not let yourself escalate. Okay. There are a few ways to rewire an unregulated nervous system, but my favorite by far is just using oils because they're simple. They work fast. You can keep them in your pocket. I have like probably 70 oils on the desk in front of me. Like it's this easy. Okay, that's it. That's all it takes. That's as simple as it can be. But like really seriously, I got some shoulder tension. I should be putting the pan away on my shoulders, and I'll do that. But um just naming it, taming it, and not letting it get trapped. Okay, so I'm feeling the tension here, and I'm putting the oils right on it, right on my shoulder blades. Okay. So I used to think that the emotional benefits from essential oils, I thought that was like a false claim. Okay. Until they actually worked. And I talked a little bit about that with the stress away. I thought that they were like expensive placebos. So even with the stinky attitude I had going into it, I didn't think they were going to work. I started smelling it. I was like, wow, this actually smells really good, and I feel like it's like making me feel better. What is this? So how does it work? The limbic system, and the power that aromatherapy has on it. So Stephanie talked about the limbic system a little bit earlier. And so our sense of smell is directly related to our emotional centers of our brain, and it affects our mood. The cranial nerve associated with the smell goes from your nose into your brain, and then it ends next to the hypothalamus. And that is the area of your brain that's responsible for your mood, your feelings, and emotional processing. Okay, so that's why a scent can trigger a memory or a feeling. Like vanilla might remind you of like baking cookies with your mom, or lavender helps, like bring back memories of your grandmother, whatever it is. And it can be good or bad. Like vanilla and cookies, that sounds great. And lavender grandmother. Well, some of us, you know, don't like our mom or our grandma. So like vanilla might be bad if it reminds you of your mom or whatever. And that sounds terrible, but that's the way it is. Okay. Um, so maybe an oil doesn't smell good to you because it reminds you of somebody that has hurt you or something like that. And so sometimes just using that oil over and over with intention, it can actually be really healing for those past trauma, the emotions that are connected to, you know, not feeling great about those people or those scents. So aromatherapy is super effective when it comes to processing the emotions and dealing with issues like anxiety, stress, low mood. They're perfect tools for regulating emotions because they contain constituents that can cross the blood-brain barrier and help reprogram bad coding as the result of trauma. Then other compounds within the oil's molecular structure rewrite the code within our DNA to restore it to the original perfect copy, and one that will be better able to resist or withstand the physical and emotional effects of stress. To me, that's just like, that's amazing. okay, that it can do that, and they do that. And that's why I really believe like Stress Away, it didn't change my life. Like it changed me. It changed me like at the cellular level, molecules changed in me, okay, because I'm not the same. Um, it's a process. It was a process for me. I didn't change right away. It, and I'm still changing. We're all still changing, but um it's great that we just have a choice to embrace that process of becoming happier, like more balanced, um and instead of like loading our bodies up with toxins, chemicals, other things that create confusion within the cells. um Conventional tools like medicine, they do have their place, but remember that they're intended for use while you're also doing the healing emotional work that lies at the core of the problem. And that can be really hard to navigate. I know this, okay? So um and I'm very sensitive to that subject, um but make sure that you're like, I feel like sometimes with, let's say, an SSRI, an antidepressant, it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on the issue. It helps you feel better maybe in the, like day to day, but underneath there's really something that needs to happen to actually help your body produce the levels of serotonin to make you not depressed, okay? And that can be like vitamin D. You might need to go to therapy. Uh, like finding hobbies. There are a lot of different things. But just make sure that like essential oils are very powerful in the same way as those other things I just talked about. So, also, daily affirmations, especially prayer. Prayer is powerful. It reduces your stress levels by I forget numbers. Okay, I'm not a numbers person, but it can reduce your stress levels like significantly if you pray or read your Bible. Like I think it's 4 times a week. It like completely changes you. Um, and then adding that emotional processing to your daily routine can really rewire your system to create a more peaceful baseline for your emotional health. So I had tried different oils before I tried Young Living, and I really, like I said, I didn't think that they would work, but they definitely did, and I didn't plan on them like rewriting my code. I didn't realize that they were going to do that, but I'm so glad that they did. And I've gotten a box of oils and supplements, cleaners, whatever they are, at least a month, like every month for like 9 years. And Young Living oils are special, and Kathy is going to tell you why.
Mute. Is that better?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. When it comes to bringing products into our lives and homes, we really need to have a company that we can trust. And we need a company that is current with research and to be good stewards of our people and our planet. We want peace of mind knowing that we're getting products that are the best possible options when it comes to farming, harvesting, and distilling the plants for our oils. And that is why we actually love Young Living. There's many other reasons, which I'll get into later, but this is the top thing that we are concerned about for our bodies, because if you're putting what they call trash oils on your body, you're not helping yourself, you're just wasting your money. Young Living does not have those type of oils. They're a grade A. They're the best oils you can get, in my opinion. And Young Living is a family-owned, farm-driven company dedicated to purity and purpose. Young Living wants to create the very best sustainable oils and products for the people we care about. And that's huge for me. I don't want to put anything on my family that I don't trust, and I don't if I can help it, even down to my food if I can help it. Products that will support our physical, mental, emotional health, products that will be convenient and easy to use, products backed by proven science and experimental evidence that will never sacrifice quality for any reason. Young Living has a strict quality control standard that ensures all Young Living products meet strict specifications, and that's called the Seed to Seal Promise. And it's Young Living's commitment to ensure that every pure oil and product your family uses will be enjoyed and will have the benefits of global resources, industry leadership, and 3 decades of innovation. And I'll repeat that. They've been in business for 3 decades. There's not a lot of companies that are family owned that you can say that about, but we can say that about Young Living. The result is a final product that you know has been created with strict sourcing, science, and standards, the 3 pillars of the seed to seal promise. And I'm very excited. In July, I get to attend my very first convention, and I will be visiting the Mona Farm in Utah where they plant lavender. Maybe I'll even get to plant some, and it might one day be distilled, put in a bottle that I could have sent to your door. So meanwhile, think about that. And you have that level of personal dedication of quality and success to your health journey right now in this app and the person that enrolled you. And as I was telling you earlier, Young Living is so much more than just selling oils. They do things for people, and that's huge for a company. Bottom line, money isn't what they're after. They're after health and helping people. And so if that's not enough, Young Living supports their employees, women, children, farmers, and animals through the Young Living Foundation. Last year, Young Living partnered with an insurance company to bring several insurance options to their self-employed brand partners. And as of 2022, they helped and educated 8,768 survivors of human trafficking. 3,646 survivors were returned to their family-based care. They send meals to the needy. They have programs to protect the bees, the monarch butterflies, bighorn sheep, owls in our land. They don't do anything. Most of their the weeds are picked by hand or by goats and animals. They don't use any fertilizers or anything that'll hurt our property or our lands. And Young Living also created 3 special oils, and this is really important to me. They created an oil called One Heart, One Purpose, and One Voice for the 2020 convention to bring people together. And think how far apart we were, and they were doing all that, thinking of that just to bring people back together. And of those sales, if you buy One Heart, One Purpose, or One Voice, they actually give 35% of the sales of these 3 oils to go to the Young Living Foundation. So as you can see, Young Living is a company that cares and works to make things happen, not just out there to make money. They want you healthy. And sometimes the things that help us to make changes is to actually just let it go. And as easy as that sounds, it is not. And it takes intentional work to truly let go and not revisit past pains that stop you from moving forward. I mean, how many of us are still remembering things that happened in 3rd grade? I know a kid named Melvin that I think about a lot, got me in trouble. We can talk about trauma. We've all experienced things in our lives that shaped us, good and bad. And we have all experienced trauma that's created habits in us and responses in us that can often be overlooked as trauma. We don't think of it as trauma. We just think that we're having a bad day. Do you feel easily overwhelmed, anxious about the future, frustrated with how your life has turned out, easily annoyed with family or coworkers? Do you snap at people when you don't really mean to? And do you feel guilty? That's a big one, even after you're acting this way, and then you feel guilty, and then you're right back in that trauma process of beating yourself up. And it's a circle, it's a cycle, and we just keep doing it. So you likely have trauma that needs to be processed. Trauma can be defined as any situation you received less than needed, that you needed and couldn't process it. Say that again. You were in any situation where you received less from any person or anything like that you needed and couldn't process it. We all have trauma, and sometimes we have to dig deep to find it, to find how it shaped you and how it's showing up in your life today. Like Sarah said, it could be anger. It could be frustration. You could be yelling at a child that hasn't done anything to you, but it goes back to something that someone else did when you were younger, and you're in that situation and it comes forward. And if we don't work that to get the process of those emotions, then they remain stuck in our bodies and our subconscious, where they continue to create issues, and it comes up over and over and over. So what can we do to stop this cycle? We can take active, intentional steps to release those emotional patterns. And how to do this is to grab an oil. Like Sarah said, I have peppermint right next to me. It makes me feel energized and happy, and it keeps me from yawning. So I need to do that. And we grab it, we smell it, And then isolate those emotional feelings, what you're feeling at the time, and think about it. What's making your stomach hurt? Is your chest hurting? Does your arm hurt? Figure out where it is, where it's stuck, and then just keep thinking about that and work through that. Think about the opposite of that emotion and inhale that oil deeply as you sit quietly. And after time, practice rewiring the pathway with a truth or affirmation. Do this daily as you process through a specific event or emotion. And I have some examples here, and I'll try to explain it to you. And it's from a book that for this process, it's called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. And I really like it. And as Sarah said, prayer and thanksgiving are really important, and they really help you with your feelings. So say you're feeling anxious. The emotion is anxiety. And the other side of anxiety is confidence. And so a way out of that anxiety and get to confidence is prayer and thanksgiving. And that's in the Bible in Philippians 4:6. And if you have a disappointment as your emotion, the other side of disappointment is freedom. And I just love this one. Listen to this. The way out is the Lord will renew their strength, and they will soar on wings like eagles. And that's in Isaiah 40:31. Can you imagine feeling that freedom just by saying that and smelling your oils and not being disappointed with the whole world and your life and everything? That's huge. And this is another really good one. The emotion is grief, and the other side of grief is happy. And grief can be a lot of things, not just someone dying in your life or anything. It can just be grief over something that you lost, something that's not in your life anymore. And the way out is the Lord is near to those that have a broken heart. And when you're grieving, your heart is broken. It's truly broken. So Psalm 31:18 is that one. And there's another emotion like misery, and the other side is joy. And the way out is, but joy comes in the morning. So tomorrow morning, you have joy. You have a way out of that, and you can think about it in the morning. You know, tomorrow morning's a different day. Don't give up, keep trying. And that's Psalms 35. And you can use statements that build you up instead of Bible verses if you don't want to use Bible verses, but they bring me a lot of comfort, like prayer does, as Sarah said. And I did this exercise that I was on my way to a hospital yesterday, a stressful doctor appointment. I was very anxious for the outcome. So I grabbed an oil, and this time it was ylang ylang, which isn't in the kit, but it's one that I use a lot. I breathed it in as I told myself that I was choosing joy and happiness. And then I held it for half an hour in my hand and put it in my pocket when I was in the doctor's office. And I repeatedly got it out and kept smelling it. I was passing around to everybody because I like the way it smells. So I repeated my Bible verse as we drove, and I worked, and it worked. I went to the office with an upbeat attitude and not one of defeat or fear. And everyone around me responded to my attitude, which I wasn't in there fearful. So it was better. I was able to respond to them too as they were doing the things that we needed to do. Another great way to process emotions is through movement. You can do walking, swimming, cycling, any type of exercise, as long as it moves you and physically moves your body. And grab your oils, apply them to your body, diffuse them as you move, breathing in that oil and as you mentally and physically process that emotion. And pretty soon you're going to be just where you need to be, which is wonderful. And for some individuals, these steps include therapy or counseling, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is a lot of value in a third party listening and giving insight into your experiences, and great healing can happen in those safe spaces. Another way to speak truth over our lives is that truth is a necessary and a good thing, but it can feel very complex. And sometimes those emotions are so painful and you just don't know what to do. But your past pain and trauma are real. They're very real. Don't let anyone tell you that what you're feeling isn't real, because it may not be real to them, but it's real to you. And that's what matters. And so is the ability for you to find freedom from it, using oils and truths or affirmations that will help you rewire the pathways to your brain to create a new one that you're peaceful. Speaking truth over our lives, our situations, and even our past is essential to emotional release process. Don't let it get stuck in your body. Don't let it get stuck in your cells, because with that comes diseases and things that you don't need. And you can really help yourself by just releasing all of that. And this can be done in multiple different ways. So choose one that feels good to start with and consider adding some more as they practice to move forward. I have several here I'll talk about. One's affirmation, and this can be as simple as identifying the emotions which you wish to release, finding the opposite of them. and repeating a statement each day as you breathe in the essential oils, as I did yesterday. It really helps me. And grab a dry erase marker and write those affirmations on the mirror. This is a way to do it, or just put a note on your mirror and then spend 5 to 10 minutes a day looking at your reflection and reciting these affirmations while you breathe in from the bottle and diffuse your chosen oil. You can do journaling. Writing can be a powerful tool for processing emotions. And this can be like writing a letter to a younger version of yourself, or to a parent or a family member. As Sarah said, you may not have a good relationship with your mother or your father, but you can write to them. And it could be the good girl or good boy that you thought you had to be when you were a child, or really to anyone, real or imaginary, anyone that can be someone safe to you, and just write to them. But always use a lead pencil and paper instead of typing, because our eyes track and process differently on a blue screen. And you'll need to use a lead pencil because it helps you transfer emotions. That's something I found out just the other day from that book I was reading. Put oils in your diffuser, apply an oil blend, and inhale as you write. And detox fast. This is another one. Sarah likes these. She told one of our friends years ago, and Bonnie still uses it every week. My problem is I can't get in and out of the tub, so I have to do a different way to do it. But because our emotions affect our physical health, because we need to really slow down and process them, taking a long hot bath can be great for processing. And like I said, if you can't get in and out of the tub like me, soak your feet in an Epsom salt bath. That'll still get it to where it needs to be. Grab a cup of Epsom salt and add a few drops of your chosen essential oil, but always add the oils to the Epsom salt. Do not put them in the water because they float on top and that doesn't help you. And so put it in the Epsom salt and it'll be diffused through your water. And put on your diffuser as well, and then sit back and soak and isolate those emotions and find the other side. Remember, like grief, happiness, choose joy, choose this, and find the other side and process through any trauma that you uncover. And continue to breathe those oils in as you soak. Another one is visualization, where you can revisit the past pain and rewire the pathway in your brain to move your nervous system into a safe place. Think back to a painful period in your life. Close your eyes and think about it. Who was there in the room with you? And what did it look like? How did you feel? How old were you? And sit there for a moment. And now visualize someone that's safe, strong, and nurturing to you. It can be a real person or fiction or someone that you made up. It can imagine that person coming in to give the younger version of you something that you needed in that moment. And last month I did this in a seminar I was in, and we were doing the visualization technique, and it was powerful. Like everybody, I think, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit here, I'll listen. But when I visualized someone who was safe in the room with me, I just started to cry. And I kept crying throughout the whole entire exercise. And other people in the room, I was on a video, I was watching them, they were all crying too. It's really, really powerful when you have that safe person and you can let go of yourself, just get what you need, just visualize it. And so believe me, this really works. As we move forward to talk about essential oils for emotional release, come back to these practices as a way to actually work through your emotions and trauma, and add at least one of them to your daily routine, and then add others as you go along. Steffi's now going to tell you about how to diffuse. Thank you.
Let me just unmute real quick. All right, Kathy, you just shared some really cool stuff. And I appreciate you putting, or like, also like putting some of your stuff in there, like your personal things. So I'm talking about the power of just diffusing, and diffusing really just puts it in the air. It's just being able to breathe it in. So we know that our sense of smell is directly related to our emotions and mood because of the limbic system that we've talked about a couple times. This means that we can intentionally use aromatherapy to process past trauma, rewire the signals in our brains, and release the negative emotions that we carry. So this knowledge just carries such incredible significance for us. This just empowers us with practical tools for our emotional health. Just being able to know that this can work and that this is how our limbic system works. It means that we have the power to change our thoughts, and that we have the power to change our actions, and even in the face of stress, and we can have the power to change how we respond to the emotions that we're feeling, because we can recognize them more. Once we can identify them, then and what they really are and what the root of them really are, then we can respond in a different way. So the practice of aromatherapy, it's actually been around for centuries. Um, and it's become an incredibly popular area of study in the last decade. And I would say it's probably become super popular here in the West, just in the last probably a few decades, probably even more so in the last decade, I would say. Um, there are countless studies on PubMed about the ways that essential oils can positively impact health areas such as immunity and mood and emotions, sleep, racing thoughts, focus. Really, the list goes on and on. But like we mentioned, aromatherapy, just breathing in the oils, sends messages to our brain through our cranial nerves and limbic system. And this means that inhaling oils triggers this area. And then it's helping to rest and reset and recharge. So in diffusing is just a great way to get the benefit of these oils from more than one individual, which is always nice. Typically, like, especially if you have like multiple people in the house, it's not just one person that needs a little peace and calming in their evening. So let's just let everyone enjoy that benefit, right? But diffusing is just a great way to just let everyone benefit. It's also just a super simple way to be breathing them in and not really have to work at it. So really this, like, diffusing is as simple as just grabbing an essential oil blend and adding, 5, 6, 7 to 10 drops, whatever you want. You actually just kind of get to decide that. To just add them to your diffuser, and then sitting next to you while you are quietly journaling, or you're doing your devotions, or you can meditate over scripture or affirmations, or even just revisit a past trauma and visualize what you needed in that moment. They're a really great way. It's another tool for you to add to the whole process of how you're just responding to those things and how you're working through that healing. But it's also just nice to have it going in the day if you're working, or, I mean, for me, like being a stay-at-home mom, but I'm not kind of a work-at-home mom, even just like cleaning the house. I mean, you just have it going in your house and it can just really impact the mood. So hold on, I'm going to go to the next one. Next one is just choosing our focus. So we've got peace and calming and frankincense. Like, those are a couple that I'm going to talk about. Like we said, essential oils are really just a great tool for us to use as we focus on mindsets that are positive, encouraging, and help us to achieve our goals and just to just feel better. Our emotions are often hijacked, though, by circumstances outside of our control, by kids coming in and mouthing off, like by just different types of things that can happen. We are like, just like that, and our emotions are triggered, right? But the good news is, that we get to choose our focus. And this is where we can just become more intentional and more mindful about it, instead of just like flying willy-nilly by everything that we feel. So many of us are pretty hardwired to automatically think of the positive, even in hard situations. Like, you hear those people like, glass is always half full. And then you've got the people who glass is always half empty. And they're like, worst case scenario is going to happen. And this is the worst. And I can't believe this has happened. But we're really hardwired that way. And I won't make you like tell us which one you are, but you probably know which one you are. But with the help of essential oils and being more intentional and being more mindful, we can actually choose more wisely on what we focus on. So if you know that you have a tendency, or your default is to go in a certain direction or to think in a certain way, you can start kind of taking those thoughts captive and just taking charge of that and choosing your focus a little more. So specifically with some of these oils, the next time you begin feeling the emotional side just kind of creep in and you're sliding out of control, you can grab your peace and calming or your frankincense. Just put a couple drops in your hands, even like rub them together, and just sit there and breathe them in, like for like a minute. Just sit there and like breathe really deeply in. Just cup them right over your mouth. Like that's actually a really easy way, sometimes to just almost like get a little hit. Not that it's gonna like make you, that sounds a little funny when I said that, but it's just an easy way for you to even just taking the deep breaths can help you to just calm down. Um, and I don't want to say just like think happy thoughts because it's not really about that, but there is something about like think positive things, like reword the phrases in your brain. This is going to be so horrible. Instead, it's like, this is not going to be so bad. It's like we rephrase what we're thinking. So if your thoughts are like, this is the worst situation that could have ever happened to me, maybe instead it's like, okay, this could have been worse. This actually might be God's grace on me right now that this would happen now and not, later on. And, or just, there's just ways that we can rewire how we're thinking. And then eventually it can become a little bit more natural, but you have to be so intentional. But the oils can really help you. So as you breathe in the oils, just speak those healthy words over yourself. Allow the oil to work with the physical body to release the stored emotions and to shift your mood and focus towards your chosen mindset. Because mindset really is more of a choice than we realize. Yes, we have our defaults, but we do choose how we respond to the defaults. So this process can be as simple as just diffusing the oils, applying them throughout the day on your wrists or behind the ears or on your chest so you can just smell them as you go about your day, or even just breathing them directly out of the bottle like Sarah did a little bit ago. But these are probably the easiest ways to use them, just grabbing them and doing things real quick. Just real quick, a little bit about peace and calming and frankincense. So peace and calming, it's one of Young Living's probably most popular blends, and probably for good reason. It's a blend of like tangerine and orange and ylang ylang, patchouli and blue tansy, and it's a crowd favorite to relax the body and calm the emotions. It's also my favorite for calming my brain down and being able to sleep well at night because I do struggle with that. This oil can actually signal overtired and overworked body systems that it is now a safe space to lay down the stress and invite in a sense of calm. Just like reading that out loud, and I already knew that about myself, but that's probably why it's one of my favorites, because that's where I can tend to get in. It's like overtired, overworked, I can't calm down, my mind's racing, and peace and calming tends to do the trick for me. So wonderful choice for a daily perfume. I love the smell, and specifically helps calm the central nervous system when it's in that flight or fight mode. And then frankincense, I could say a lot about frankincense. I love frankincense. I won't say too much though. Frankincense is just one of the most desired essential oils available today, and it's really just a must-have for every home for a lot of reasons. It's a grounding oil, and it can help us to find a calm center in our spirit. I find it to be spiritually grounding, emotionally grounding. It's a wonderful oil to apply and diffuse like while you're doing devotions or reading your Bible or meditating or just trying to calm down, or journaling, or just like diffusing. Like if you're like in a counseling session, a lot of people do those online now, diffusing that one, or just doing any other emotional work. And an added bonus when we use it is that it's a pretty big go-to for supporting the immune system as well. So maintaining youthful, vibrant skin is also another thing. It actually lightens up blemishes. It's an amazing skin oil. But it just really creates an atmosphere of rest. So it's a really big one. And then one more thing I can say about it is just that frankincense is one that I know my cousin used to use for her daughter when she would have night terrors. And when she would have night terrors, she would put it on the bottom of her feet, and she actually quit having night terrors. So there has been stretches of times where sometimes my issue with going to sleep is I actually have a little fear in my system. And I've had times like that where there was things going on and I could not go to sleep because I actually had fear. I remembered that my cousin used it on her daughter for night terrors, and I used it in the middle of the night once. Rubbed it, like I breathed it in. I'm putting it up on my feet because that's what she did with her daughter. And I was sleeping within 30 minutes, and I didn't have an issue after that. And I had been waking up for like a week straight and finally remembered like, oh, that could work. So I know that it specifically just helps with that part of my emotions. So it's just another thing to share. So I'm going to kick it off to Sarah now.
Okay, so thank you. Uh Two oils that are great for battling mental and physical exhaustion are Panaway and Valor. Panaway is the one I just put on my shoulders. Panaway is a it's a blend of minty oils, minty plants, and um, clove, which is a powerful antioxidant, and copaiba, which supports the body's inflammatory response. And it's a great natural alternative to all of the OTC pain creams, NSAIDs, things like that. So after a long day, you really like, if you're feeling down, overwhelmed, like your body aches, your feet, your back, shoulders. Those are some really common places that we feel exhaustion in our body. Just put some Panaway on it. I don't dilute. When my little girl, when she broke her leg, she was 2 years old. I didn't know that we had to dilute young living oils, or that we're, it's recommended. We don't have to do anything, but maybe that's a rebel in me talking, but sorry. We are recommended to dilute it with like a coconut oil or avocado oil or whatever. And I don't usually do that. I didn't do it on my 2-year-old, and guess what? She is fine. She's okay. Um, but anyway, when you're hurting, Panaway, you just put it right on there. I often, if I'm feeling like my back will go out, I don't know if it's sciatica or like a compressed disc or what it is. Um, I I have trained myself, because of the emotional detox I did a couple years ago, to know that like, oh, my back is an indicator that I might be exhausted. Am I exhausted? Oh yeah, like my back goes out at Christmas and like when people come to visit, and different times that I'm like overworking myself, or mental exhaustion, or emotional exhaustion. Like sometimes I got a lot of kids. I carry their emotional weight a lot, and that tends to hurt my back. So I have to ask myself, am I exhausted? And then I'm like, oh yeah, oh, Panaway. And I put the Panaway on, and seriously, my back feels so much better in like within a day or two. And this is after I suffer for like 4 or 5 days. um, Once it was for a whole month. My back from Christmas Eve, my back went out through like most of January. And then I was like, am I exhausted? Well, yeah, I put the Panaway on. I'm not kidding. It was gone in 2 days. And this was like debilitating pain. So, like these are very, very powerful. If you got a bum knee, Panaway. You got headaches, Panaway. Any pain. Okay. It used to be called Painaway before they made us stop saying the word pain. Okay. So Valor is another one. It's a blend of tree oils and florals, and it's helpful for many emotions that are centered around our activated sympathetic fight or flight response. So Valor is powerful when you're facing a trial or a season of adversity, because its natural properties help align your body both emotionally and physically. And it's very helpful for anxiety. A lot of people call it chiropractor in a bottle, because it literally will help your body realign, like your physical body. Okay. Um, and it's really great to apply it to your shoulders, the bottoms of your feet. It's good for snoring. And if like snoring is just kind of like a misalignment, right? So if my husband is snoring, sometimes I'll like uncover his feet and put a little Valor on his big toe, because the big toe, like there's this like acupressure points, the big toe is where your head is. Okay. And the spine goes from your big toe like down your foot to your heel. So like you don't have to like I don't have to go put the Valor on his nose because he's snoring. I put it on his toe, and it helps. And if you know the Bible, I always think like, was Ruth like putting oils on Boaz's feet. Is that why she uncovered his feet? Because he was snoring. No, I know it's better than that. But I always think about Ruth and Boaz when I'm uncovering my husband's feet in the night. So valor is meant for giving us courage. Um, and so I use it all the time. Sometimes I'll put it in my mouth if I'm like super anxious. It doesn't taste great, but it helps me very, enough that I withstand the taste of it. But most of the often I just put it on my neck where I can smell it, put on my arms right here, like where your skin is thin, the back of my neck, anywhere like that is really, really helpful. And um so like those emotional and physical exhaustion, like they will show up as like insomnia, pain, headaches, migraines, low libido, low energy, anxiety, depression, hair loss, all of those. And when we are in that sympathetic mode, we don't rest and digest. And so that leads to oxidative stress, and it just perpetuates the inflammation. And that's why that's why we feel pain when we are emotionally and physically exhausted or overwhelmed or sad or whatever. It does cause pain, and that's why. So you really when you start to listen to your body's signals, like, why does my head hurt? Oh, well, gosh, yesterday, like I was super stressed. I ran around all day. I didn't eat. I didn't rest. And yeah, I have a headache. Like that's, I actually, my migraines are cured because I started understanding that it was stress that cured, that like was causing them. So in fixing my stress responses, I don't have migraines. And you ladies who are on here, I've struggled the whole time I've known you with my migraines. So it's amazing. Another thing that is very helpful is like breath work. Some breath work is a little weird, but I'm talking about just like slowing down your breathing, paying attention to it, being intentional. If you breathe, when I was in PE, they taught us to like breathe up here in our chest. That's not actually where you're supposed to breathe from. You're supposed to breathe in your belly, and you're supposed to feel your belly move, not up here, not in your chest. Which is it's like learning how to walk differently because we've been breathing our whole life. So like being intentional and learning how to breathe and take deep, clear breaths. Breathing through your nose is way better for you than breathing through your mouth. But some oils that are great for helping with breathing exercises are Raven and peppermint. And Raven is a eucalyptus blend. It's got the same like I don't want to say the same ingredient because it's not the same ingredient, but camphor. Camphor is the ingredient in like Vicks Vapor Rub. So so that can give you some indication of what it smells like. It's way better than Vicks Vapor Rub though. And it can give your airway the support that it needs. It's soothing for stuffy nose and things like that. But often when we're stressed, like our breathing is affected. So just like smelling that. I have one of my children, she gets overwhelmed and she can't take a deep breath. And so like I will say, why don't you go get some peppermint and just smell it and just slow down your breathing and take a deep breath because she's just taking these shallow breaths. She doesn't even realize she's doing it, but that's why she doesn't feel good. So also peppermint is great. Peppermint is it helps with pain a lot because it kind of tricks your pain receptors into ignoring the pain. But it doesn't just do that. It also like goes in and helps repair whatever it is that is causing the pain. So like when you take a Motrin, you're just ignoring the pain. You're just ignoring it till the Motrin wears off and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm still in pain. Um, the oils actually help fix the issue. But peppermint helps oxygenate your blood. So I use it on car trips because I get really sleepy and I tend to like need the toothpicks to keep my eyes open because I have a hard time driving at night or sometimes in the day. Oh my goodness. But peppermint really helps. I put it on my neck. I'll just like smell it. I got a little car diffuser. It's really helpful for like helping you be alert. Um, and then, so if you ever use breathing exercises, try using your oils. Like I said, like keep it in your pocket, keep it in your purse. Any of them will help you, but specifically for breathing for your lungs, if you have a lot of grief, it's going to rest in your lungs. Raven and peppermint are really, really good for that. So just take it out and smell it, and it's going to amplify the experience of the breath work. And it's going to affect each of the body systems and our cells to detox and work more efficiently. And now Kathy's up. She's going to talk about digestion and our stress responses.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about Digest and lemon. And we've all had the butterflies in our stomach. We've been nervous and anxious before a test or doing Zoom calls for your first time. That's all part of that. Or if you're just even worried about something, don't have enough money to the end of the month and things like that. Physical connection, emotional connection is really real in our bodies. And when we're stressed and overwhelmed, we allow our emotions to take over. And a lot of times it's like a mindset issue. Your brain wants to save you, wants to protect you. So it just starts taking over. And you don't even realize it's happening because you just start agreeing with it. It's a silly thing, but we do. And then the physical issues start showing up, and the digestive issues become huge when your body's in turmoil, and you don't need that on top of everything else. And our stomachs and our liver start storing unprocessed emotions, and it leaves us feeling less than great. So 2 simple ways to help this is Digest and lemon. Digest is an emotional support oil, and it helps your body to physically soothe your stomach and process the stored emotions. And it's full of digestive herbs like tarragon, ginger, peppermint again, like Sarah was talking about, juniper, fennel, lemongrass, anise, and patchouli. And these blends soothe any digestive issues. And whether you're needing to get things moving, which sometimes that helps, and it is known for that, and just to soothe digestive upset or daily digestive health, it's the best blend to choose. You can use it topically. You can add it to an empty capsule with a little olive oil, and you rub it on your stomach, and it always helps. And if you use the Vitality, you can put that in your mouth, under your tongue, and it actually works really fast. And my daughter loves to do that, and it's really a good one to have around holidays when you're eating way too much. And the lemon Vitality, that's a real good one, and it's easy to put it in your water or your seltzer water and drink it throughout the day. And the lemon essential oils is cold pressed from the rind of the fruit and making it alkaline, which is what you want to keep your body in, because diseases take a hold when you have an acidic body. And the more you're upset, the more acid is produced, and then you need alkaline. And it's a wonderful way to give your liver a gentle detox and support it every day. And it tastes really amazing. It keeps you drinking and keeps things moving. And another one is Stress Away. Now I actually prefer Stress Away over Peace and Calming because I just absolutely love the smell of it. And it's called a Vacation in a Bottle. And it's convenient to keep in your purse, take it to the grocery store when you're standing on those long lines and work and school, whenever you need to pretend that you're on the beach in a chair with your toes in the sand, watching the waves. That's my favorite place to be. Stress Away contains copaiba, lime, cedarwood, vanilla, and I hope I pronounce this right, ocotea, I try, and lavender, and it's an exotic aroma, and it just really makes you feel good. It has a happy and positive day. Another one is Citrus Fresh, and it's known as the sunshine in the bottle, and it has a lot of citrus blends in it, and it just gives you an uplifting, happy experience with that. And it's got orange and grapefruit, mandarin, tangerine, lemon, and spearmint. If you've never smelled spearmint, it's really wonderful, and it's in citrus, and it's really uplifting. And you can put it in your diffuser in the morning and in your car if you have a car diffuser. or even put it on a cotton ball and put it in your air vents. And that's really nice and easy way to do it. And anytime you need a little bit of sunshine, reach for your citrus fresh, and there's stress away. And Stephanie's going to talk about healing rest.
All right. Hold on, let me get this switch over. Okay. Um, all right. So we all know that sleep is important for our overall health. But what most people don't know is that it is absolutely essential when it comes to emotional health. And when we're talking more than just not feeling cranky from a lack of sleep, like we're talking like emotional health across the board. Sleep is essential for your ability to focus and make decisions, to have, my stuff just went, to have just like sharp decision making and be able to focus. I just pushed something and it made my thing go all the way over there. Okay. Anyways, just mental clarity and to have our stress levels go down. Sleep is just really important. We've all seen how a toddler falls apart when she needs a nap or when they're overstimulated. And why are adults looked at any differently? We need rest, and sometimes we're overstimulated. I know how moms get really overstimulated, especially if like physical touch isn't your love language and you have people touching you all the time. And it's really easy to get overstimulated. And where is our nap, right? So, but it's just really important. So when we sleep, our brains and bodies go through this important process that's necessary for growth and learning and memory and recuperation of our body systems, our physical bodies. If you're exercising and you're sore, like the repair, all of that takes place while you're sleeping. Without sleep, our bodies can't effectively make more white blood cells, or create neurons or repair muscle or produce antioxidants or generate nerve pathways. So basically, sleep is as important for survival as food and water. So I already talked about one of my favorite oils for sleep is peace and calming. I actually like frankincense as well. And I talked about those, but two others that are really favorites for sleep. One is like an obvious one that most people have heard of for like relaxation, and that's lavender. It's basically lavender is like AKA the loving grandmother of essential oils. Um, it has a scent that's a wonderful blend. It's like it's fresh, it's floral, it's clean. Usually it triggers something positive. Like people have a good lavender memory. I'm sorry if you don't, because I know that that can be the case too, but it's also a really great beginner oil. It's incredibly versatile. They call it like the Swiss Army knife of oils. And it's kind of a must for every home because it can be used for skin, relaxing, cuts and burns and bruising and just so many things. It's got a really gentle scent. It's not too crazy, but it doesn't smell like Johnson and Johnson's baby lotion lavender. It's like actual, which I actually love that smell. Before I got into oils, that was my favorite. But this is like pure lavender. So it's good with just rest and relaxation. So it's an incredibly soothing oil to both the body and the mind. So you can apply this oil all over your body, really. Or you can either even just like make a linen spray and just spray it on your pillow at night before you go to bed, or spray it on the sheets, and then you're just kind of breathing it in, and it's actually really amazing like that. But it's just good in the diffuser as well. So it's just good for deep healing rest. Sorry about my cough. I have like a lingering cough from a little bit of junk I had last week. And then Thieves Vitality is another go-to. It's a go-to for kicking the crud in our bodies and in our homes because it's a really awesome immune booster. It's kind of like an immune system powerhouse. So we really turn to Thieves a lot. That's why Young Living has a whole line of Thieves products. It's germ fighting. It's an awesome blend. It has rosemary, lemon, eucalyptus, radiata, cinnamon bark, and clove. And you can really smell the cinnamon in those. Each my son. Each of these oils has cleansing and purifying properties too. So it makes thieves just a wonderful oil to diffuse at night as you sleep to help with your immune system, like as it recharges at night. Really, no matter how you use it, you can diffuse it, apply it, ingest it. Thieves is one that you want to just be using, especially during those winter months and more of like the cold and flu season. This is one that you want just in and around you. Okay. All right. So some of you you already have your starter bundle, and maybe some of you don't. So we just wanted to real quick. This is kind of about the time in a class where everyone's brain is starting to like explode. It's like overloaded, but we could talk about these things all night because we could just pick a topic and go with it with emotions. But we're just going to end real quick by sharing the most cost-effective, basic way to get all the things that you need. This premium starter bundle, it's really your easy button. It has all the oils in it that we just talked about. So it's 12 oils in it. It comes with the diffuser that we talked about being so important to be able to use it in that way. It's a really amazing, easy button when it comes to processing emotions. It gives your body physical support with happy bellies, with deep rest and immune system, and also has what you need to create a calm, encouraging environment just wherever you are. So this starter bundle, it's packed with all of these essential oils we want. It's got the diffuser. It has a couple of samples of the Nisha. I know that Kathy talked extensively about that, just how amazing that has been for her. And honestly, the value of this starter bundle really can't be beat. If you were to buy all of this just separate, it would be over $400, but Young Living just made it into a bundle for $165. And they've always had a really great starter bundle because their whole goal is to get these in people's homes so that they can actually start the healing process and be able to just respond in different ways and get some of the toxic things out of their house. And so they always have this available, and they have it available even after you start. You can get a starter bundle, and then a few months down the road, you can be like, I want another one of those, and you get it for the same price as a customer. So it's one of those bundles that's always available for you. So, tonight we just focused on emotions and stress, but this starter bundle also covers issues like immunity, allergies, focus, cold and flu symptoms, congestion and fevers and pain and comfort or discomfort and comfort. And seriously, just so many other things. That's another reason it's so valuable because it is so versatile. And that's what we love about essential oils. Like lavender is one that I actually can't use to go to sleep. It actually hypes me up, but I use lavender for skin things and so many other things. So it's awesome that they are versatile like that. Hey, babe. But they all have multiple uses. So even if you don't use one so much, you're going to be able to use it for something else. So I just talked about the retail value of it. So if you already have your starter bundle, you can get another one of these for $165 all you want. If you've never become a customer of Young Living, you can get it with a 10% off code. So that's something that Young Living has in place all the time now. As a newbie, you get to just get 10% off on that first order. We really love that because it's just an amazing way to get it into people's homes. Also, when you order, if you decide you want to go ahead and get one today, you will just want to make sure that you ask the person who invited you here today. They have a personal link that they want to give to you. Don't order without the link, because if you do, Young Living will place you under some rando person, and then they're going to reach out to you and you're going to be like, who are you? I already have someone I talked to about oils, and that's going to not be as fun. So make sure you get the link from the person who invited you, and make sure you also use that code. They have the code. I don't think it's on my screen right now. It's not. It's ShareYL, but it might be on another screen. But make sure you get the discount code and get their link. And then just real quick, Sarah's going to just share a little bit about the loyalty rewards program Young Living offers that really just makes this even more doable. It makes it so you get a lot of freebies. And it's also something that if you do decide to get your starter bundle, it's a very I think it's so important to like put this starter bundle on loyalty rewards, even if you don't end up staying on it. But we'll let Sarah talk a little bit more about that.
Okay, so loyalty rewards makes it simple and it helps you get the most of your money. Um, and you're going to earn reward points. So let's say you spend like this bundle that Stephanie just told you about with the 12 oils and the diffuser, it's $165. It's 100 PV, which that's just the international rate. Okay, so it makes it level because we have markets in South America and Asia and everywhere. So the PV, when you spend 100 PV, you get you're going to get a free Valor this month. Next month it'll be a different oil or whatever they choose, fun stuff for us. But Valor, like I would love another I can't wait to get a free bottle of Valor when I place my 100 PV oil order this month. But as you spend your whatever PV you spend, 50 PV, 100 PV, you're going to get back 10% your first 3 months. After that, it goes up to 20%. And then after 2 years on loyalty, you get back 25%. So when I do my 100 PV order this month, I'm going to get free Valor. I'm going to also get 25 points, which is $25 worth of free product. That's a Thieves household cleaner, which will last it'll be all the cleaner I need for like half a year, maybe 4 to 6 months in my house. Because I still got a lot of kids at home. But some people make that Thieves cleaner last a lot longer than my home can. But that's a super deal. So like that's, I'm just telling you like $25, that's like that's a free product right there. And so I love it. Let's see. You get to choose what comes in your box every month. So I order Super C chewables for my kids. I'll get toothpaste. I buy oils that I'm low on, supplements like omegas, things like that are really important. That's what I usually buy every month. And so if you place 2 consecutive 50 PV loyalty orders, you are going to get a free Desert Mist diffuser. They send us really great gifts at months 3, 6, 9, 12, and then every year we get a special blend on the anniversary of our loyalty. So that's called Loyalty, the oil that they send us. It's beautiful. I use it for perfume or for diffusing. I love it. So to all you need to do, like, it's simple. You go in, you place your order, and if it's your first order, it'll have a little box and you check yes, you want it to be your first loyalty order. If this is not your first order, you might know already, it says add to cart or create a loyalty order. That's all you got to do. Just click that button. It'll make a loyalty order for you. And then you'll get the points and the free Valor if you spend 100. So, and if you like some other items that we did not talk about tonight that are really good for stress and emotions, Ningxia Red, it is clinically proven to lower your stress levels and your inflammation and help you sleep better and give you energy. Like it's an amazing supplement drink. You just drink like a shot glass or a little sachet of it every day, and it will, like, that really helped my sciatica too. So Endoflex is just an oil blend, especially if you have like maybe some thyroid related issues, just put it on your throat. Super B vitamins. B vitamins are essential for lowering your stress responses and helping your energy and your mood. Vitamin D, very, very important for stress and emotions. Release is a really good oil blend that helps you to release your trapped emotions. We have CBD, we have drops, and we have a roll-on. Smells amazing. It's called CBD Calm. Super C, you might not know this, but vitamin C is very helpful for reducing your cortisol levels. Sleep Essence, if you have a problem sleeping, that one is on sale this month. And the most like delicious smell ever, it's not delicious, but it makes my mouth water, is Tranquil Roll-On. I love the Tranquil Roll-On. And so those are some things like if you're already customers, those are things that you can consider adding. And if you don't have the Life Steps app, we want to encourage you, just find Life Steps on your phone, on your smartphone, or you can look it up on a computer too. Log in with your Young Living info, and it's a free app. It'll ask you to like upgrade to the paid version. You don't need to do that. You can look up any of these oils and supplements, and you can buy right through the app. And your enroller, whether it's Kathy or me or Stephanie or whoever enrolled you, your oil lady, they will get the, they'll still be your oil lady. Okay. So more about the Life Steps app. We have tools and ways that we're going to walk beside you. We're not the type of ladies who are going to like sell you something and just move on to the next sale. That's not what this is about. Young Living is a community, and we help each other to get the transformation that we're hoping to get. Okay. So so we will walk beside you. If you maybe you get emails from me, that's because like Kathy, Latanya, Anita, you guys they're all, we're all on the same team. So if one of these ladies, and we're all on Stephanie's team too. So if somebody, let's say Kathy is your oil lady and you get a message from me, I'm not trying to steal you, I promise. I'm just, because Kathy and I work together. Okay. I promise. And even if I was trying, that wouldn't happen, because Young Living doesn't let that happen. So, so we will walk beside you. We're a team, we work together, and we really want to help. So there's a free wellness assessment at that, the Life Steps app. You can see the picture on the screen of the app. That's kind of what it looks like once you're in it. Super helpful. It's got a ton of information. I love the wellness assessment. You can just ask these or answer the questions, and it tells you what products might be really helpful for you. It's amazing. So, one last thing, we are doing an emotional detox, 21-day challenge next month. It's starting on the 22nd of July, and it's going to go for 3 weeks. Hold on just a minute. I have a knocker. Somebody's at the door. So we are going to lead our people through each day by targeting different emotions and applying, diffusing, and ingesting the 12 oils that we just told you about. And I did this a couple years ago. I think it was 2021. It was amazing. Like, I had results, other people had results. I loved it, and I need to do it again. So we're inviting you guys to do this with us if you want to. And hopefully your body will be able to like recode that DNA like we've been talking about, and bring you back into a baseline of rest and digest. So ordering your oils by the end of this month will ensure that they're going to be in your hands by July 22nd, for sure. So, and if you do that, if you order in the next 2 days, like before Saturday, we're going to send you some beautiful printed labels. If you order after that, you will get a PDF and you can print your own labels. So you can find our links, or you can just ask us, whoever invited you to this class, to place an order if you want to. And so just make sure if it's your first order that you use that ShareYL code, and you'll get your 10% off, and the person who invited you will they will be your enroller, not a stranger. Okay. So, we just want to thank you guys so much, for coming, and put out there, like, if you have questions, we can take some questions now. So just go ahead. I don't know if you know how to unmute yourself. If you have a question you want to ask or you want to say something, just raise your hand and I can unmute you if you don't know how to do it. All right. I think we're good. Steph, Kathy, any last words? Or anybody want to say anything?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it all. And I think that they have a lot to think about and process now. So just as you guys are processing through it, if just questions come up or you need some help just figuring out what to do or how to move forward, just reach out to one of us and we can help you do that. So
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you hopping on and learning. All right. All right. We'll talk to you later.